Hello, you snacks. Welcome back. My name is Jack. We start today's fiasco in Am I the Devil, the subreddit very renowned for finding the worst of people on those subreddits, with the original title being a mother's honest dilemma. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter that unless she extends a personal invitation and accepts my live-in as family, that I will not attend her wedding? And within only 8 hours of it being live, I'm losing my words, it already got an F reward and completely removed from the subreddit. And she ceases to exist upon the internet anymore. And I think when somebody goofs up this badly, well, it's only destiny that such a thing should be found somewhere else. We are 10 years past the initial hurt, where I had an affair which led to divorce. My ex-husband has never moved on, never really dated, and frankly, never gotten over the end of the marriage. I was wrong then, but for the right reasons, if that makes any sense. Neither of us were happy, and our kids were suffering for it. Now see, he's happy now. Look at him. Look at him living the life he wanted to live. Look, see, he's happy! You don't understand, dear. I slept with someone else for you! My daughter is 27 now, and while she's done her best to get along with my live-in, neither of the kids see him or his kids as family. She is getting married in December, and her dad has said that it would be too much for him for my live-in to be at the wedding. Please recall that the initial hurt was 10 years ago. It is not my fault that my ex is not over it. My daughter has said that my live-in is not invited to her wedding, and while her dad has not given her an ultimatum, she wants him to be comfortable. To me, this is ridiculous. My live-in has been part of her family for 10 years. He has loved and provided for her in every way he can. I have told her that she needs to extend him a personal invitation as a member of the family, or I will not attend. My daughter had an explosion on me when I told her this yesterday at our weekly family dinner. I have not slept in almost 36 hours because I am so upset. To help me find some clarity, am I the a-hole for making the demand I did? Now, what makes this such a gorgeous piece of work is how she attempts to justify herself in the comments. Unfortunately, she did get them removed, or at least the moderators removed her, but don't worry, we have websites to fix that. One person says, "You're the a-hole. It's your right not to attend, but it's her wedding, not yours, so keep your mouth shut." Well, if it's not clear, which it may not be, I am her biological mother. Okay, how does being her mother make it your wedding? Yeah, you're not her mother. You're her incubator, because good parents aren't selfish pricks who hurt their spouses by cheating. Oh, but that ain't even the worst of the comments. Another person bringing up, it's her day and her choice, the daughter's. Yes, it's upsetting for you to have your partner not be there, but to miss your daughter's wedding over it is ridiculous and says a lot about your relationship with her. Exactly, you seem to consider the status of the marriage more about yourself than about your daughter's own special day. Well, to be frank, it also demonstrates what my live-in has complained about since he moved into our home, that my children are exceptionally disrespectful and spoiled. Gee, what did your affair partner do to possibly receive such treatment from your children? It's almost as if he was like their home wrecker? I don't know. Now she further tries to justify herself that, oh, he's a good man, he just needs to be given a chance. Oh, he's not a homewrecker. He's just an innocent man trying to escape a terrible life. And his ex-wife has accepted me as part of their children's lives. With one response saying, he probably isn't still gouging his ex for money. This isn't even about your ex, though. It is about your daughter. She isn't inviting him, and that is her right. No, he has to pay his ex almost $1,200 a month in child support. It's obscene. Just take note of that. Take note of the fact that she thinks it's obscene to pay a certain amount of child support. This is the mother, and this reply absolutely shuts that stupidity down. Yeah, so not the same. She is getting money from her cheater, and actually she isn't. It's to support the children he helped make and is responsible for. You are the cheater and are getting his money that you don't deserve and are going out of your way to get, despite the horrible thing you did, and you expect everyone to just be okay with it and act like one big happy family because it's what you want. I'm surprised your kids talk to you at all. Now, this is also great. So it turns out she also has a son who is openly hostile to this new homewrecker of a man and calls him a simp. Again, golly gosh, what could have this homewrecker have done to this family to have the children treat him such a way? With the mother promising everyone, oh, she could make a post all about her son, and he'd definitely be the a-hole in this situation. You want to know what he did? Aside from just calling him a simp, Oh, it's tragic, trust me. Oh, shortly after I moved in with Eric, my son took his pictures and created a Tinder account to get me to suspect he was cheating on me. Eric did not deserve that at all, and I almost reported my son to the police for identity theft. And how did he repay me? By continuing to treat Eric as a second-class citizen and simp for all these years. You don't understand. I'm the victim here because I'm dating the person who's being bullied. Identity theft is not a joke, son! Now, I've yet to actually explain, what is this money this mother is still allegedly getting? She's not responsible for the kids right now. Heck, one of the kids is getting married. How is she getting any sort of support from her ex-husband that she cheated on? Also, why do you keep referring to your new boyfriend as a live-in? Now, she alleges this is just the terminology her generation uses, which I very much would disagree on. I don't think I've ever heard anyone use this term without it being some sort of legal thing or a way to, if things go sour, she can say, well, I wasn't technically dating them. Ooh, they were just living with me. Anyway, you might ask yourself, okay, why isn't she just marrying this guy or coming across as more serious? After all, people are asking this sort of thing. Her reason? We aren't married. If we get married, then I sacrifice what I am owed from my husband's military retirement. That's right. You cheated on your husband. You made the choice to break his heart, shatter your family, and you think you're still entitled to your ex-husband's money when he retires. Oh, no, sorry. No. She's not taking a portion of his retirement benefits. It's worse. No, I lost those in the divorce. The Air Force pay what are called survivor benefits. After he dies, I am entitled to half of what his retirement would be. And why is she entitled to such money? Well, the law says I am. Just, like, this is where at the point I'm not caring at all to try and see her side of things. You know, yes, you're being harassed by your children about your newfound love, blah, blah, blah. Nah, at this point, you're an absolute a-hole. You don't deserve any pity from anyone. I hope your children go no contact with you. Let's move on though, but still keeping in the same theme of terrible mothers. This next story is a two-parter from r/teachers. Yeah, you can see where this is going. It all started over 2 weeks ago with a ridiculous circumstance. 19 students, 5 different names. So, I am dealing with a disaster of a roster for an after-school club. I have 19 students, all boys between the ages of 6 and 13, elementary to middle school. There are 5 different first names. I have 7 Liams. 2 are literally named the same first, middle, and last name. I have 5 Noahs. 3 have the same middle name. 2 have a last name that starts with the same letter. I have 3 Mateo. 2 have the same last name and no middle name. I have 2 William, and 1 is William Noah, just for schmitz and giggles. So 5.5 Noahs. And I have 2 Sam. Not Samuel, just Sam. So this is clearly by far the most pasty white school in the country. So the first day I sat them all down and tried to figure out what we could call them to prevent chaos. It started descending into chaos. Trying to save the afternoon, I told the boys that we could all have special club names. The boys were all for it, so I used a fantasy name generator and let them all pick mad scientist names. They were thrilled. One of the Mateos, especially, because he gets called Big Mateo, and he's sensitive about being overweight. Except for one of the Liam's mums. Of course, one of the Liam's mums, who has the same first, middle, and last name, is livid. Miss Liam, she called the principal and wants his name to remain the same, and me to call all the boys by their actual names. Yes, that's right. This mother thinks she has the power to dictate how the other children are called. The Karens, they're evolving. Like, I don't even see how it's possible. Of the 5 names I have to work with, 19 kids, none except William, really lend themselves to nicknames. And with so many repeats in last initials, it'd be a jigsaw puzzle. Admins are with me on this because the boys are all from different grades. It really hasn't been an issue overall. But the one parent is trying to start a war over me whitewashing her kid's name. Liam is white. I let her know that since the other boys were happy with their mad scientist names, he could be Dr. Liam. She wants me to scratch all the names, or she's going to get the district involved. Other parents don't give a schmidt because it's after-school care. I'm not a full-time teacher, so I don't even know what the heck to do. People really question what is going on with the state of our education system. but then realize part of the job, 90% of it, is dealing with parents. Okay, maybe not 90%, but you know what I mean. I'm sure the teachers can all relate out there. It's never the kids who are the issue, it's always the parents behind them. Some great advice though. Call the William Liam for short. Now, the OP does show some concern about this because this can be a case where, yeah, look, if she's able to legitimize the issue of it being whitewashing, even though these are all white names, they still might want to make an example out of this teacher. Some helpful advice does insinuate to make the district office aware of what's going on before she does. I would suspect Liam's mum has been a pain in the butt in other venues, so they may know how to deal with her. District officers hate surprises, so I would let your supervisor know and give the central office a heads up. It is best they hear from you first because this is so unusual. This is not your fault or doing, so it is fair to ask for some assistance and support in dealing with this situation. So what happens? Well, we find out in the update 9 days ago. Buckle up! Buttercup! Because this one's a wild ride. It's Sunday, and I'm posting this because I needed a minute to breathe. Tuesday went well. Used Dr. Liam. Contacted the district, who was like, "You're an after-school contractor. Leave us the frick alone." Yep, all that helpful advice, completely useless. Mom still being an A, so I invited her to the club. I have 2 parent volunteers. Wednesday, she came, sat in the back, and scowled the entire fricking time. A couple of the younger boys were very nutty. I sat them in a corner on the beanbags, gave them a snack, and told them to take a minute. Turns out they were exhausted and both fell asleep. A couple older boys had some interpersonal issues to work out, and they were off to another corner. One boy called his mum and begged me to let him study. Fine, whatever. Room has 4 corners. Class proceeds with about 11 students actually participating. Eventually, the boys who were dealing with whatever rejoin us, as well as the boy studying. So just take note of that. That's a very important thing that's happened here. Various kids have gone off to separate corners for a little bit, while the bulk of the kids participated in the class, then eventually joining in. Him letting these kids go their separate ways first ended up being the worst thing she could have let happen. At this point, immediately after class, she pulled poor Dr. Liam and 3 other of my students deregistered. This should have been a sign of things to come. Thursday, I come in and get called into the office. There's a lawyer, the mom, and then someone I didn't recognize. They are from Child Protection. Kraken Mom's friends, apparently. I'm not going to pretend I'm colorblind or somehow magically immune to noticing race. My kids are mostly white or white Hispanics with 2 Asians. Evil Mom starts making accusations that I'm name-calling the kids. She didn't approve of Professor Calamity or Dr. Demon, and that I forced all the children of color out while I only let the white kids participate. She has photos to prove it. My sleepy boys were 1 Asian, 1 black Hispanic. Warring boys were 1 dark black Hispanic, 1 tan Hispanic. Study stressed boy was Asian. The rest of the boys are white passing Hispanic, white or white passing mixed. Her Liam was very subdued. I honestly hadn't realized the way this occurred. It did look bad from the photos, but in the end, all but the 2 sleepyheads joined in again. The volunteer mums in the group had checked with home and both parents had said to let the boys sleep. Like, what the frick am I supposed to do? Nobody in the room except Kraken Mum was really amused. She thought she had us over a barrel. Wasted the entire fricking after-school time to hash it out. I'm shaking and ready to quit on the spot. Principal smoothed it out. Lawyer assures us we have nothing to worry about. Child Protection was pretty annoyed because Kraken seemed to make them think she was exposing some kind of crazy situation. Now you think, okay, she's clearly been beat, she's got Child Protection with her, she's dealing with a lawyer too, she's clearly gonna back down. Nope. Come on, we know Krakens. If they can't use fabricated evidence, they'll use hearsay. Friday, I go in to find a reporter and a camera. I let them know that they had better not publish any footage because Kraken didn't have permission to take the footage. I got the principal involved, who called the lawyer, and again, we wasted most of the time sorting this out. However, because Kraken posted on all the town boards on Neighborhood and Facebook and whatever fricking else she could find, things ended up working out and biting her in the butt. 3 parents pulled their boys on Wednesday because they aligned with Kraken. On Friday afternoon, after I get in, I discover I have 5 girl besties from grade 4 who want to come. And since the cap is 20, I'm really happy to have them. It's not the best balance, but 1/4 is closer to my normal 1/3. As of Saturday night, I have 2 new volunteers for class, and a business, owned by the dad of the Asian studying boy, is going to buy us 2 extra robots so the kids can be in teams of 3 to 5 rather than 5 to 7, and one mum has donated 3 of her old iPads for the kids to program on. Many people in the community are polarized. Fortunately, it's mostly in my direction. My head is still spinning, and I don't think I could think up any more drama than has occurred. I'm looking forward to Monday, with the new kids and a fresh slate. Some more info in the comments. My first thought was, wow, how bored is Dr. Liam's mum? I'm willing to bet she doesn't work and this is how she chooses to use her time. That's usually the case with the most obnoxious mums in my school district. They literally spend their free time finding or creating drama and posting their craziness on Facebook. Yeah, I'm thinking that she does something for her husband's business, but I have a feeling it's a token job. I don't think he's too happy because I noticed an anonymous donation to the after-school program that had that particular business as the return address. Yeah, so look, while it's not confirmed, it's very nice to suspect that the husband is even also not on her side. Now this next story, look, I'm just gonna read the top comment. Worse yet, I'm just gonna leave it there for you to take in. There's a lot of phrases in this story that I'm probably going to try and avoid saying so loudly for the YouTube demonetization demons. But, oh lord, is it not possibly the closest thing to CBAT? Today I fricked up by buying my boyfriend spicy toothpaste. A few weeks ago, I, a 29 female, was browsing Instagram and came across an ad for spicy toothpaste. My boyfriend, who's 28, is a fiend for anything spicy, so I decided to buy him a couple of tubes. For context, he does stuff like the one-chip challenge, which I still don't understand because everyone dies attempting that challenge, my boyfriend included. Fast forward to yesterday, and my boyfriend and I decide to go out with a few drinks or a few friends with drinks. Yeah, you can go out with drinks, that's fine. We spend a couple of hours bar hopping, then decide to head home. Once home, things start to heat up, but before getting too dirty, we paused to clean up. I hop in the shower, and he brushes his teeth. Now, my boyfriend likes to go down on me, front and back, if you know what I mean. This night, he decided to tongue punch the back door. While he was going to town, I felt some heat back there, but didn't think much of it. Next thing you know, he's sliding his hot dog in my hot dog bun, at which point, the mild heat turned into extreme heat. Unbeknownst to me, my boyfriend enjoyed the spicy toothpaste I got him a few weeks ago and was using it on a regular basis. I guess what happened is the tongue punching left some deposits of ghost pepper flakes around my stinky star, and his hot dog sliding in and out rubbed it in, causing a pretty intense burning sensation. This is where the frick-up happens. Yeah, that's right. We haven't gotten to the frick-up yet. It gets worse. I was drunk, so I thought it'd be a good idea to put an ice cube up my butt to cool things down. I go to the freezer, grab an ice cube, and slide it up there. And wouldn't you know it, it gets stuck. Although it's ice and would melt in no time, I start to panic. My boyfriend comes to see what's going on, takes a close look at my butt, and bursts out laughing. I start to crack up too, and as a result, the ice shoots out of my butt, hitting him in the eye. We both fall on the floor laughing our brains out. His eye's a little sore today, and for those who are wondering, my bunghole has recovered. Yep. Some things, just maybe we don't need to share everything on the internet. That's just my opinion. Anyway, let's cleanse our palates and buttholes. Move back to another story that's, once again, about a terrible mother. She asks, am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my gay son's tuition after he came out to his family? I'm a 14-year-old female. My son, who's 19, came out to my husband and I when he was 14 years old. My husband and I are both atheists and support the LGBTQ+ community, and we're both proud of our son for coming out. However, my husband's mother is a devout Catholic and is extremely intolerant of gay people. Ooh, now just quick too, I realize I've never actually explained why I have some words bleeped out in the text like this. It's because in the past YouTube has demonetized videos where I've talked about homosexuality and sex in general, so I apologize to those who might find that rude and, in a sense, insulting. And when I'm being more consistent with uploads, I'm more than happy to try and attempt to see if it actually works. But yeah, it's purely for that, not at all me trying to imply that they're a taboo thing. They're not. They're people. So she is wealthy, and my children were told from a young age their college would be paid for as long as they attended a private Christian or Catholic school. She believes this will keep them from partying, having premarital sex, etc. I don't agree with this, and have argued my children are getting the best education possible regardless of the school's religious affiliation should be her top priority, but she refuses to change her mind. My son chose a Christian college one state over to attend. He graduated with a lot of college credit from taking many AP classes in high school and will be done in 3 years opposed to 4. He's currently just began year 2, which has already been paid for. During Labor Day weekend, he came home to celebrate his grandma's birthday. He told one of his cousins that he was talking to a boy at his college and thought he could trust him. He seemed supportive, according to my son, but he told his mum and dad, and my husband's sister and her husband are just as religious as my mother-in-law, and outed my son to her. She is livid and called me and informed me she will not be making any future payments towards his tuition, and told me to relay the message to him as she will no longer be speaking to him. I have told him many times not to come out to his grandma, cousins, aunt, or uncle until he was through with college. I hate that he can't be himself, but my husband and I cannot afford his college. I don't like my mother-in-law and will be going no contact once my other 2 children, 15 and 13, get their chance to have their tuition paid for as well. My son is okay with me waiting to do so for the sake of his siblings. He will, unfortunately, have to take out student loans and eat the costs of his final year. Now, you might be thinking so far, well, surely it's not the mother, the OP here, who's an a-hole, it's the grandma. Sounds like mother is just trying to keep the peace as well as she can. She tried to warn the son not to do this. The son did it. Not to say that the mother-in-law is justified being a homophobe, but consequences of your own actions, unfortunately. At least you feel like defending her. Until the next paragraph. My son is obviously devastated. He both will not have his final year of college paid for next year, and that his cousin is not someone he can trust. He now wants me and my husband to foot the bill next year. We have $25,000 saved up currently that we plan on using for much-needed kitchen renovations. Our oven barely works, our dishwasher doesn't work at all, and the kitchen itself is worn down and outdated. My son is calling me an a-hole for prioritizing to remodel over his education. We've explained to him our kitchen is falling apart, and it's much needed and is nowhere near the cost of his tuition. So even if we postponed it, we would still be short, as his private school is very expensive. I feel like he is an adult, and he needs to be the one to deal with the consequences, not us. Am I the a-hole for not using our family's savings to cover his remaining tuition? Honey, I know we can easily get those devices for super cheap that aren't just built-in appliances, but I want a pretty place. No, seriously, I'm gonna say it. Ovens? Outdated. The idea we have to have that sort of thing built in, and we can't just have customizable kitchen inbuilts is ridiculous. Big oven trying to control the kitchens. Look, I was a single guy for a while, but an $89 air fryer was the chef's kitsch. The chef's kiss of cooking appliances. The only thing I needed wherever I was staying for like 4 years. You don't need an oven, you want an oven. Tell me, does your son need this education, or does he just want this education and he'll be fine without it? You know, the last 2 years of his life won't be wasted at all. But even with that said, it is true. Again, look at the circumstances. Granny ain't a good person, but Granny does have the power. The son was warned not to come out to the family. Yeah, look, it's a shame that he thought he could trust the cousin. And for all we know, maybe the mother didn't actually stress the cousin enough, but either way, he allowed himself to be outed way too easily. This was genuinely the result of his own actions. And it is fair to argue that while you have $25,000 saved up for something else, and you could put that towards the tuition for him, you still aren't going to afford it. A bit extreme to accuse your parents of being a-holes when, even if they didn't make a whole brand new kitchen, they still aren't gonna really save you. So as you ponder those two sides of the spectrum, let's see what some of the comments already say. Of course, everyone's Yatar about this. This is An understandable fact. A good comment here saying, if your son had ticked off your bigoted mother-in-law by partying, yeah, don't pay for his college. But she cut him off because of him being him. You and she were literally telling him to hide his sexuality. That's fricked up. If it wasn't this, someone else would have seen or heard something and told her. If you had the money to save for a kitchen, then you had the money to tell your mother-in-law to tick off and pay for your own son's education yourself in the first place. You wanted him to hide his sexuality, and that means you are not an ally in any way. Some even suggesting, can you not just downgrade your kitchen a step or two to the basics? Like, you know, get an air fryer. It's only like $80. Now, the OP mentions that we live in the suburbs of a major city. Things cost more here. The appliances aren't the majority of the cost. It's major repairs needed to the infrastructure. This was the cheapest option we could find. So I think that's something else to consider here. This isn't really a case of just wanting a fancy upgrade, it's likely a case of, we need this so the kitchen can function. The biggest supporter says this: you're the a-hole, not because you can't afford it and letting your adult son figure it out, but for saying it was his fault he lost his money. In this entire post, you are more angry and disappointed in your son instead of your bigot parents. You are more angry at your child than at the little tattletale who vomited homophobia at the first chance they got. Trying to hide yourself is so freaking hard, and you expected your son to not have any public relationships for years and years? You say, oh, I hate that he has to hide himself, but the moment he tripped up, you said, well, sucks to be you, now fick off. You're not as accepting as you seem. Deal with the consequences. For being gay. The son should face consequences for being gay. He lost his education for being gay. He lost his grandparents for being gay. He lost his trust in his own family for being gay. He may face extreme prejudice and death threats for being gay. Okay, look, being gay and losing family support is one thing, but won't somebody please think of the dishwasher? But despite all the hate and, look, legitimate vitriol, I feel like Rough Culture here has a fairer middle ground. Okay, but giving up the dishwasher that they saved $25K to replace doesn't even cover a fraction of the kid's loans. He's screwed anyway, and the kid just seems upset he's not getting his college covered, and at least through what we know, has said nothing about any of that. I get that it sucks for him, but through no fault of OP, and OP couldn't fix the problem if they tried. The kid should be responsible for figuring out his own solution. Getting your college paid for is a wonderful gift, but expecting a relative to foot the bill is also selfish. The whole system is asinine, but that's not OP's fault. No a-holes here. Another Disney princess making another point that the OP and the husband never actually promised their children free education, the grandmother did. So the grandmother's taking it away now, and now the child thinks that they're still entitled to some sort of access of income, or at least a way to pay off the loans. Because yes, morally, the grandma's an a-hole. Like, that is not at all up for debate. But the son is basically expecting to be getting their stuff still paid for, because someone else in their family has money. Money that has already got a purpose and a reason, that I think National Ferret here makes a good point about. To summarize, they're basically saying the idea that, well, if anything, this $25K into the home is a better long investment, as if you don't spend money updating or replacing things in your home, you won't get good of a return of it in later. And assuming that the OP and her husband leave their assets to their kids when they move on, sticking to their initial plan of just investing in their property and making sure it gets a good bang for its buck later on, is ultimately going to give him a far better return than some mealy $25K that is not even going to save him. It's just going to make him pay off his loan maybe 6 months earlier. And of course, end of the day, I as a straight male completely understand and totally have a justified opinion on how gay people are treated in society and whether or not it should be considered a big deal or not. Yep, that's, I'm valid to say things about it. Seriously though, let me know what you think about this one. Because, yeah, look, I'm sorry, I'm just in that idea of looking at it all long term and, like, this isn't a 12-year-old. This is someone who's almost an adult. You gotta have some degree of critical thinking skills to think, maybe I shouldn't come out to anyone in my family in case they gossip. I don't know, I know that's not the best reason to come by, but it's all in my head right now. So let me know what you think down below. With that said, that is the end of today's video. Thank you as always for watching. You're an absolute gem for doing so, making it to the end of this video. Thank you. Realize I went on a bit of a blabbering on at the end of that story in the end, but oh well, thanks for watching anyway. Be good, make good life choices, unless said life choices are like a butterfly effect and bring about the end of the world, then don't do that, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.